Hello again. I'm here with my part two of my December wrap up. Basically, all of my horror stories. So let me just get into it. First one I'm going to cover is This Book is Full of Spiders by David Wong. This is comedy horror. Basically, the best way to describe it is if Douglas Adams wrote a horror novel. I believe that's one of the quotes in the back here. I think these kind of books it's best to actually tell you as little as possible about these books. Know that there's spiders, obviously, and the way the world just kind of goes crazy. It's just best to just go right into this. This is part two of, I guess, a John Dies at the End trilogy. I didn't read John Dies at the End, but I was able to pick this book up and follow it pretty easily because they actually give a good synopsis, I think, of what's going on at the beginning of the book. So 4 stars. I also got another David Wong book, the third one, I guess, in that trilogy. What the hell did I just read? Well, not as good as this book full of spiders. I still think it's still a pretty good book. And if this is your first exposure to David Wong, I still think you would really enjoy it. And so I'm going to still give this a 4 stars, but it's not as good as Book of Spiders. Okay, next book, Those Across the River by Christopher Buehlman. This book is I really enjoyed this book. This is Christopher Buehlman's first book, I believe. Um, it's basically about a World War One vet who inherits a house, and the family member tells him that he has to sell the house, but then he's on hard times because it's during the Depression, and he decides to move into the house with his girlfriend, and obviously things happen in the area across the river. It's really an interesting book. I actually really liked it. The ending kind of changed what I expected. It became a lot less ghost story and something else, supernatural, but it still was pretty good. I actually did really enjoy it. So 4 stars, Those Across the River. Okay, then I read a bunch of short stories, which are kind of tough sometimes to review short stories. But this one, first one, Valid Court Book of Horror Stories. There maybe were four books, 4 or 5 tops stories I really was interested in this one. So I'm only going to give this a 3 star because, in general, most of the stories I didn't like in this book. So while there were a few that I really enjoyed, like Camera Obscura, Sam Hain, um, I think the Nice Boys also was really interesting. It was still was a very few and far between. So 3 stars, the Valid Court Book of Horror Stories. Next one was a little bit better for me. Was Tales from the Talking Board. Probably got a good 50-50 split on this as far as stories I liked and stories I didn't like. So I would definitely give this a 4 stars because there was some pretty interesting books, pretty interesting stories about this. Devil and the Bugle Boy, Yes No Goodbye. Questions and Answers was pretty funny. I actually like that one. But a bunch of Worse Than Demons. Couple of interesting stories in this. I really did like this collection. So I'm going to give this one a. I keep turning it this way. I'm going to give this one a 4 stars. Tales from the Talking Board. The last short story collection that I read was just one author story collection, which I never read this author before, which is Ronald Malfi. We Should Have Left Well Enough Alone. This is his short story collection of all stories by him, and I have to say that this thing, for a short story collection, this is good. I never read a short story collection where I liked so many of these stories. I definitely got to pick up this guy's books before, so I've never picked up any Ronald Malfi before. I mean, I think I honestly could say over 75% of these stories I liked. If there was like maybe a handful of these short horror stories that I didn't like, that's about it. Just a handful. And he moved all over the place with this. But this was so good. Uh, the Dinner Party, The Jumping Shark, The House on Cottage Lane, um, Chupacabra, All the Pretty Girls. All of these stories were just really good. I'm going to give this 5 stars. This book, even though there are a few that I didn't like, I don't think there'll ever be a short story collection where I've liked so many of the stories all at once in this book. So Ronald Malfi, We Should Have Left Well Enough Alone. Really good if you want to, check out Ronald Malfi. This is a really good short story collection to start. And that's my review. All the other books I read, basically, I've already covered and talked about, but just to do a quick review, here's The Troop that I enjoyed. You can watch my review on that. Nosferatu, I really liked, especially it's a good Christmas story, which is why I did a review on it. And I also did a few ebook reviews, which is Wolf Blood and The Store. I did as well. I'm trying to. Oh, and Sinner, which I didn't really like as much. Those are my other reviews. So if you count those 3 books, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 books this month that I read for horror books. So this was, like I said, the month of December was a great month. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you soon with my next book review. Thank you.